Hi everyone, welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I will be teaching you some listening section practice and strategy today from our test book number 2. This is test 4. Hi Jeffrey, I just saw that your name came up in green, meaning you became a sponsor. Good for you. Happy to have you on board. Jeffrey, if you don't have our exam books, make sure you send me an email so I can get those to you. Hi everyone. Hi Baharat. Hi Margarith. Thede. Hi Hamza. Hi Nemo. Hi Kira. Hi Jalina. Hi Sanim. Hi Amanjad. Good to see you. Oh, hi Terrell. There's another new sponsor. New sponsors. Please make sure to send me an email so I can hook you up with our exam books that we use during these classes, okay? All right, girls and guys. Again, today we're doing some IELTS listening. Our materials, as usual, coming from our websites. If you're studying for academic IELTS, I highly, highly suggest visiting us at aehelp.com for lots of materials to help you pass that academic IELTS exam. If you're learning for general IELTS, please visit us at IELTShelp.com, where the materials are specifically tailored for the general IELTS exam, okay? Also, from your Google Play Store, you can download our app for the academic IELTS. It's called Academic IELTS Help. That's for Android. So join our full course, Pass IELTS. We have lots of live class recordings as well as HD pre-recorded videos on those websites. If you're looking to do some speaking practice for the IELTS speaking interview, contact me at adrian@aehelp.com. We can set that up. Okay. Kira, good for you. 39 out of 40. That's a band 9. So good job on scoring that in your Cambridge exam. Excellent. All right. Again, there's also writing and editing help on our websites. Both the speaking and writing are paid services. Obviously, they demand our time. So here's a little bit of an overview of our schedule. So today we're doing listening practice. Tomorrow we're doing a sponsor chat only class, but everybody's welcome to watch, of course. Only sponsors can chat. That will be a speaking session there. Sponsors, if you have some topics or some questions that you want me to focus on for some of these sponsor chat only classes, please send those to me by email, okay? And then on Friday, we'll have some writing task 1. Saturday, we'll do another sponsor chat class, and then Sunday, we'll do some reading. All right, so now on to some listening practice without further ado. Okay, girls and guys, Binaya, one of the ways to improve your listening is to actually practice listening. Now, the IELTS listening test has 4 parts, okay? And it gets more and more difficult with each part. So part 1's the easiest, part 2 becomes more difficult, part 3 and 4 are the most difficult, okay? So here's a tip for everybody watching. Use the instruction and question review time for the beginning of the listening part of IELTS to have a sneak peek at the part 3 and 4 questions, okay? So I'll show you that in a second, okay? So that's a good tip. On the IELTS, sometimes they're very strict and they look at a student, and if you're flipping your pages in the beginning of the listening to look at part 3 and part 4, they'll say, hey, don't do that. We're not there yet. Go back to part 1. And then you just go, okay, sorry, I just didn't see that in the instructions. So you go back to part 1. But if you can have a sneak peek, just to look at the topics, what it's about, just to help your brain prepare for that before you get there, it's a really good idea, okay? All right. So girls and guys, get your pencil and paper ready, okay? We're going to kick it off with some nice listening practice. Again, make sure that for part 1, you try to get as many answers as possible correct. It is the easier part of listening. So goal is to get 10 out of 10 for part 1. Okay. 9 out of 10, worst case scenario. If you're losing more than a couple marks in part 1, you really need to up the ante to make sure you pick up as many points as you can in part 1 for the listening, because you will more likely lose marks in part 2, even more in part 3, and even more in part 4. All right. Hi, Jagriti. Nice to see you. Raj Shran, also good to see you in class. Haven't seen you in a bit, so great to see you here. All right, so your goal for part 1 listening is try to get 10 out of 10. Pay attention to instructions. Sometimes students lose marks because they're not paying attention that it's 1 word only or 2 words. So make sure you pay attention to instructions. Pay attention to spelling. Okay. Using all capitals is okay. Okay, so if you decide to write everything in big letters, that's all right for the listening and reading section. Just be careful. It's easier to make spelling mistakes when you're writing all capital letters, so practice at home. Also, make sure to fit your answer into the space in your answer sheet as well. So pay attention to spelling. And then for part 1, know how to capture dictation of addresses, phone numbers, postal codes, okay, and so on. Now, for part 1 as well, know the spelling of words like days of the week, months of the year, okay? Those are very common. Abbreviations are okay, just make sure to know them. Okay, girls and guys, get your pencil and your paper ready. Please don't write answers into your stream description here, into the chat. You will see some of the questions in the stream description that we're looking at today. Yeah, you can. Harkam Larpreet Kaur. Yes, you can. You can write everything in capitals. Capitalization is important. If you're not using all capitals, you do have to use capitals for proper nouns, like the first letter of names, first letter of a bank, or name of a bank or something. Okay, girls and guys, so get your pencil and paper ready. Let's warm it up with some part 1 listening, okay? Now we're going to use our website for this. You will see the questions in a minute. This is our general IELTS website with the green background. We're going to hop over to our academic IELTS website with the blue background. Log in at the top here. And then we can access all of those wonderful audio materials that we have on our website in this tab here. And since this is test 4, track 1, it's going to be CD4, or yeah, CD4, track 1 for test 4, part 1. Makes sense. Yeah, let me just check my volume here. I'm going to turn the volume maximum on my end, both on the speaker and on the computer. So if it's still quiet on your end, then just try to turn up the volume for the listening on your end. Again, don't write your answers into the chat. We will look at them once we're done all of this, and we will go through them, okay? So give everybody a fair chance. Everybody's ready? Here we go.
This recording is copyrighted by 2 Think One Solutions Inc. and World ESL Tutors. You will hear several different recordings, and you will answer questions on what you hear. There will be time given to read the instructions and questions, and you will be given a chance to check your work. The recordings will be played only once. The test is made up of 4 sections. At the end of the test, you will have 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. Now turn to section 1. Listening section 1. You will hear a conversation between a student and a university administrator. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5. You will see that there is an example. This time only, the conversation relating to this question will be played.
Oh, hi there. Is this the University Registrar's office?
Yes, it is. I'm Deborah Reed, the university's assistant registrar. What can I help you with today?
Great. Thank you for seeing me today, Ms. Reed. I have a few concerns about my registration for the upcoming semester.
The student says she has concerns about registration, so B has been indicated for you. Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 5.
Oh, hi there. Is this the University Registrar's office?
Yes, it is. I'm Deborah Reed, the university's assistant registrar. What can I help you with today?
Great. Thank you for seeing me today, Ms. Reed. I have a few concerns about my registration for the upcoming semester.
Certainly. What can I help you with? Sorry, what was your name again, Ms.?
Anderson, Melanie Anderson. And well, my first question concerns my student record. I'm beginning my second year of uni, but my first didn't go so well.
You're worried about your marks then, Ms. Anderson, and how they impact your registration status?
Exactly. I don't know my precise average, but it is not good. Could you look into this for me?
Absolutely. Could you please spell your last name for me? I've seen it spelt with either an E or an O in the final syllable.
It's an E. Andersen. My family ancestry is Swedish.
Right then. And the next piece of information I need is your student registration number.
Okay, it seems I've left my student identification with my registration number on it in the car. Can I give you some other piece of information or identification?
Yes, you can. Along with your surname, I can find your account with your date of birth.
Great. It's the 20th of August, 1997.
The 20th of August, 1997?
Yes, that's right.
All right. Let's see your account then. Okay, here it is. Well, I see what you mean about your marks. These are certainly not ideal. However, your average is above the level necessary to proceed to year 2 of your programme. However, I do see there's a hold on your account which is preventing you from registering for classes.
Yes. See, I thought that was because of my marks.
No, it's not. It's actually because you have unpaid library fines.
Library fines?
Yes. During the past year, you must have been tardy in returning some items to the university library.
Yes, I think I was. Hardly seems like a good reason to prevent a student from registering, though.
I know how you feel, but books are expensive for the university library to acquire, and we must coerce students to pay fines one way or another.
How much do I owe?
£6.20.
£6.20? Well, I suppose it's a relief the total is so small.
You now have some time to look at questions 6 to 10. Now listen to the rest of the interview and answer questions 6 to 10.
Well, now that that is out of the way, I did have another concern. I need advice on what modules to take in my first semester. I'm in the BA Art History program, but as you can see from my record, I failed a class which is a prerequisite for 2 modules I'm supposed to take this semester.
Yes, it looks like that's right. It was Art History 1270 that you failed. Is that right?
1270. Yes, I took it with Professor Calder. I found his teaching style did not match my learning style.
Right. Well, that art history class is indeed a prerequisite for both Art History 2170 and 2260.
Yes, unfortunately, that's what I found out earlier. Is there anything that can be done?
Well, Miss Anderson, I think there is. Here's what we'll do. We'll register you in the module you failed last year, and then we'll put you in Art History 2240, which counts towards your degree in place of 2260. 2240 has no prerequisite, however.
But what about the 2170 class?
Yes, well, that's where we'll have to be creative. Are you comfortable taking an extra class in the spring semester?
Yes, I think so.
Good. We will register you in 1270 and 2240 in the fall, and then register you in 2170 in the spring.
Great. And one final question. Is Professor Calder teaching art history 1270 again this autumn?
Yes, he is, but I've put you in Professor Hennessy's section instead. I think you'll be more successful.
That is the end of section 1.
All right, so that's a typical IELTS section 1. We'll go through the answers here in just 1 second. Let me get back to the file here and then go through these. All right, girls and guys, so that's a typical section 1. Let's go through this together, all right? So let's do the answers together, and then we'll roll right into section 2. Really want to get you nice and warmed up for the week of lessons here with some good listening practice. So you probably noticed that I was scrolling around in the questions in the beginning there in the instruction time while I was just showing you exactly what I would do if I were sitting in the IELTS. If I were sitting in the IELTS, I just walked into that exam, I sat down, everybody else is around me that's taking the test, and of course there's the proctor and it starts. When they're giving that instruction time, they have a very similar kind of instruction. The listening section is made up of 4 parts. You will have questions and review time for each part. There will be 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. So they talk for about 1.5 minutes. I would definitely be focusing my mind at that point, looking at the question paper. If I can open it and start looking at the first couple pages, I would definitely start doing that. Start focusing on the strategies that are important to do well in the listening section. Remind myself to pay attention to the questions carefully. Remind myself to visualize the information, try to see it in my head. So I wouldn't just be looking at the ceiling of the exam room going, oh, that's an interesting light bulb that they put in here. It's a little bit stronger than the one that I have in my... So don't let your brain wander, okay? Keep focused. All right. Speaking about being focused, let's look at these questions and give the answers. So, number 1, in which year of university is the student enrolled? First, second, or third? So is it A, B, or C? Okay, in which one are they enrolled? The correct answer is B here. Yeah, it's the second. The student says, I've just finished my first and I'm enrolled in my second, but she's a little bit worried about something. So B is the correct answer there. And then here is the question, what is the student concerned about most? So good job, Taral Patel. Good job, Amanjot. And all the other students who said B for number 1. Number 2, what is she worried about most? Her marks, her registration status, or her identification? Okay, if you listen carefully, she's actually most worried. This is an important word here, most. Pay attention to details in the questions. She's worried about her marks, but she says she's very worried about her registration. She can't register. So she's going to see this administrator because she's worried about her registration status. I believe that was the correct answer, but we'll check the answer key in the end and then figure that out. But she's worried about her registration status. Maybe it's A. It's either A or B. I think she's most worried about her registration status. But we'll see. We'll see in the answer key at the end, okay? All right. 3 to 5. Complete the notes below. Write no more than 3 words and or a number. Number 3, her name, and they spell it, so you have to get the spelling correct, is Melanie what? Begzod says it's Melanie Anderson, spelt as an Anderson like this. Anderson with an E. I believe she says that this is an E, not an O, because of her background. So it's Anderson. Okay? Not Anderson. I believe it's Anderson. You could also spell it all big letters like this. Okay? But you cannot write it small letter like this. Okay, so this would be wrong because names are proper nouns in English. If you write it with a small a, IELTS people will mark it wrong. So this is okay, this is okay, this is not okay. All right? Make sure you pay attention to that. They emphasize that, she emphasizes my name is spelt with an E instead of an O because of my background. So we'll check that in the answer key as well, but I'm quite sure that the students who wrote that with the E are better off, okay? All right, her birthday is something 1997. August is part of the answer, so it's August. Easiest is to write it like that, Aug, okay? And it's 20th, so 20. August 20, 1997. This is enough. If you write the full, so if you go August 20th, that's okay too. Just make sure you have correct spelling. If you accidentally write ST here, like that, that's going to be wrong. Okay? So be very careful. It's better not to write that suffix. It's better to just leave the ST or the RD or the TH. Just use the number. That's the easiest way. So it's good to learn how to abbreviate months so that you're not making spelling mistakes, okay? So August 20th, all right? Library fines, how much does she own? Harkamal Preet, yes, that's an okay answer. 20 August is okay, yes. Amandeep Goldie, that's not good. That's not going to work. Harman Kosa, if you spell August with a small a, you'll get it wrong, okay? It's a proper noun. Okay, all you girls and guys that are saying 620, correct. Notice here that they give you pounds, okay? So they give you the symbol for pounds. So please do not write pounds in your answer sheet. You could get that wrong if you write pounds. So keep it to 620, okay? Just 620. That's all you need. 6.20, okay? 6 pounds 20. That's all you want to show there. Yes, 6.20 Prince Grok is correct. Just fear, yes, it's correct, okay? All right, write no more than 3 words for each answer. What program is the student enrolled in? So what program is the student in? A lot of you are saying art history. That's okay. Notice that that's just 2 words, right? So art history is okay. You might want to put the BA in there. So BA Art History. It's a Bachelor Art History. In the IELTS, if you leave out the BA and it says 3 words, they might not give it to you because it's a Bachelor of Art History, not a Master or not a Doctorate, right? So BA Art History is better. Hi, Manisha. Nice to see you in class. BA Art History is definitely a more safe answer than just art history, especially when it says for you 3 words, okay? So be very careful about that, all right? They might not give it to you if you just write art history because, hey, the IELTS will say, how do I know it's not a master's? How do I know it's not a PhD? Okay? All right, let's go a little bit further down in the question set. So here it's a matching one. Match the class number with the correct description. Now this is where logic can help you a little bit as well, okay? So make sure not to forget your good friend logic, okay? Logic is your smiley, happy friend in the IELTS. When you practice good logic, you should be able to pick up a few points, no problem. So here, taken and failed. This one should be easy. So if you got this question correct, in which year of the student is the student enrolled in, and you know it's second, then if you got that one correct and you heard that and you figured that out, then you should be able to get this question number A right, the taken and failed. So for number 8, right? Why? Why do you think that number 8 is A? Okay, so number 7 is going to be B. Yeah. and this one is going to be C. But the question here is, why do we know that this one for sure is A? So number 8, why do we know that number 8 is A? Why is it for sure? This one we can definitely know that it's A very easily. Anybody know why? And I hope some of you are typing, yeah, Begzod, that's right. It's a 1270, so it's a first year course. And we know the student is in second year. So she must have failed this first year class. It's 99% that it's going to be the one that she failed because it's a first year course and she's in her second year, okay? So we can figure that out by your good friend Logic. Mr. Happy Face Logic there will help you with that. I hope everybody understood what I meant there, okay? All right, so the answers there were B, A, and C, and the order has to be correct. Each one is its own answer, so there's 3 points there, okay? Careful with that. Okay, the student... Let me just get it back there. Okay, here we go. The student is registered for 1270 with the same professor as she previously had. True or false for the last one, for number 10? Jeffrey, thank you for that. Begzod, thank you for that. It's absolutely false. The student says this, okay, this one you should get. Again, remember, part 1 listening, you should score 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10. The student says, I failed that class because I didn't really get that teacher's style or that professor's teaching style. And then the administrator says, yeah, okay, I'll put you into a different class. So she emphasizes that, right? She says you're going to be in a class with Mr. Hennessy or something like that. So the last one's B. Girls and guys, don't worry about too much just yet. We'll check those answers in the answer sheet in a moment. But for now, let's continue on with section 2, okay? So again, these questions and this listening is coming out of our websites. So let's jump back there. Please do not write your answers into the chat. Please wait till the end. Give everybody a fair chance, okay? We're just going to push through. Try to visualize, try to see the information, okay? Be patient. Pay attention to paraphrasing, so using synonyms between the questions and the audio, all right? Keep your marks, Nemo. We'll look at them later. We'll look at the answer sheet as well. So get your paper and pencil ready. And here we go with section 2 of the listening. All right.
Now turn to section 2. Take some time to look at questions 11 to 16. Listening, section 2. You will hear a woman showing a group of people around an all-inclusive resort hotel. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 16. Now listen carefully to the interview and answer questions 11 to 16.
I'd like to welcome all of you to the White Sands 5-star resort here in beautiful Varadero, Cuba. Today, I'm going to show you the fine features you'll get to experience during your stay here at White Sands. Before we begin, does anyone have any questions?
Hi there. Yes, I have a quick question. How long will the tour be? I have to meet the rest of my family for lunch in an hour.
Not a problem, sir. The tour will take no more than 30 minutes. If after this time anyone wants more details on any of the resort's features, I can help them out individually. Any other questions? No? Well, let's get started then. White Sands covers 10 acres of land, including direct access to over 250 metres of pristine Caribbean coastline. It is perfectly safe to swim in the waters here at White Sands, but do be on the lookout for jellyfish in the water. They are not deadly, but their sting does pack a punch. As we pass through the lobby, I want you to take note of the main bar area on your left. The bar is open from 11 in the morning each day and closes at 1 o'clock a.m. each night. As we proceed down the main path, you'll see 4 apartment buildings marked A and B on your left and C and D on your right. Between buildings C and D on your right is one of our finest restaurants featuring traditional Cuban cuisine. We have 7 restaurants in all at White Sands, and we invite you to try your favourites while you are here.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
In our brochure, I read that we are only entitled to 5 restaurant visits per week we stay at the resort. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. The restaurants are only open for dinner, and reservations are mandatory. You will be able to make reservations at the end of this tour or any time before 5 this evening. When you are not dining at our a la carte restaurants, you may eat at either of our 2 buffet restaurants, which are open for breakfast, lunch and dinner. Additionally, there is a night cafe, which is open until 4 a.m.
Does the resort have a nightclub for dancing?
Yes, of course. We have a discotheque located at the end of the main resort path, further away from the apartments. This is, of course, for noise reasons. In fact, the discotheque is conveniently located next to the night cafe.
And what are the discotheque's hours?
It opens at 8 in the evening and closes at 3 a.m. early the next morning. Last call for drinks is at 2:45.
You now have some time to look at questions 17 to 20. Now listen to the rest of the interview and answer questions 17 to 20.
Next, I'd like to take you down to the beach and show you some of the facilities and services we offer. As we approach the beach, you'll notice the brilliant white sand that our resort is named after. The sand is incredibly fine and is lovely to walk on in your bare feet. Now you can see to your left is one of our beach bar facilities. There is also another beach bar about 100 metres to your right. These bars serve beer and cocktails from noon until 4:30 in the afternoon. On your right is a small cafe, serving snack food items during the same opening hours as the beach bar. And straight ahead of us is our beach changing facility, where you can change into your swimming costume, use the toilet, or have a shower.
Are there any water sports included in our holiday package?
Good question. Yes, there are. You have unlimited access to our skimboards, surfboards, and beach sports equipment, such as beach volleyball and football. Additionally, you may sign up for windsurfing at our activity desk, located adjacent to the resort lobby. Finally, you may also register for our weekly water polo tournament, which is held each Friday afternoon at 2:30. Does anyone else have any?
That is the end of section 2. You will now have half a minute to check your answers.
All right, and then of course use that half minute to check your answers. Now, notice that here, one of the advantages you have for doing this listening is the pacing. So I'm following the audio with the correct pacing, and this helps you a little bit. Of course, on the IELTS, you have to learn to do this on your own, okay? So let's go back and answer these together. Again, you'll get those Harkamal Pre. Don't worry about it. They weren't really skipped. They were just fast, okay? Let's start with number 11. Approximately how long will the tour be, according to the guide? Now here, there was some paraphrasing using a synonym. So the guide actually says 30 minutes. And as we know, 30 minutes is, as Taral, Sanim, Teshi, Saraj are saying, it's a half an hour, so that's got to be C. So you're absolutely right. Okay, half an hour, all right, was the correct answer there. Yeah, that's right. They said 30 minutes. And again, logic is your friend. Most tours, when you're going around a resort, they try to keep them fairly short so you can enjoy your stay. They don't want to get you all bored. And the IELTS does use kind of real-world situations. So 30 minutes would be a good guess as well. Now this one here, it's 12, 13, 14, 15. So you have 4 points to pick up. You have to pay attention. You have to pay attention to the details. Any order is okay for this, for your answers. What are the 4 features of the resort? Okay, so give me all 4 of them. Prince Grok says it's BDHE. I think you got a couple correct there, Prince Grok. Not all of them. Vishal says GBEA. Harkar Malpreet says BDHA. Jubilant says it's DHAG. So there's a bit of variance. And Jeffrey with a question mark. Confidence, guys. Night Cafe, definitely. They say that. No deadly jellyfish. The woman says there are jellyfish, but they're not deadly. So pay attention to those negatives. There's definitely 4 apartment buildings. She says on your left there's building A and B. On your right it's C and D, something like that. She says there's 7 restaurants, so definitely E, a number of restaurants. A number of restaurants would easily equal 7 restaurants. And I believe she also says you can go right to the beach. So there is direct beach access. Several buffet restaurants, no, because she says that there's 2. Okay, in English, we don't say several for 2. When we want to refer to 2, we might say a pair of buffet restaurants, or even more common would be a couple of buffet restaurants, but we would not say several buffet restaurants. Several would be at least maybe 4, 5, or more, all right? So I think the correct answers here are A, D, E, and G, okay? So those are the best answers, A, D, E, and G. If you got one of those, you get 1 point. If you got 2 of them, you get 2 points. If you got all of them, you get all 4. Okay, question number 16. Choose the correct letters, A, B, or C. What time is the last call of the discotheque? Last call means it's your last chance to order. Last chance to order a drink in a lot of cases, like an alcoholic drink. It's an expression, last call. So the correct answer here was, yeah, a lot of you got that one correct. Good job. B, 2:45 or 2:45 in the morning, right? 2:45 a.m. It closes at 3, so last call is at 2:45. Again, if you know what last call means, you would know logically it's about 15 minutes before closing. So it's B, not C, okay? C is the closing time. B is the last call time. Okay, 17 was a diagram type of question, so you had to match the diagram to how this place is organized. Was it A, B, C, or D? Yeah, all of you answering D right now. Terrell, Patel, Harman, very good. Mohammed, nope, definitely not. C, all of you saying D is okay. The picture was not clear, but even if the picture's not clear, you should still get this, okay? So Prince Grok says, oh, I couldn't see the picture that clearly. Doesn't matter. These words will help you a little bit, but really the shape will tell you. She says there's something on the left, there's something on the right, and there's something else on the right. So the only picture that has 2 items on the right and 1 item on the left is D. So even if you're not reading the word entrance, beach bar, cafe, you should still be able to figure out without reading these words that this is the correct answer, because it's the only one where you have 1 item on the left, 2 items on the right. And that's what you had to understand from her instructions. Everything else is either on the center, 1 left, 1 right, or in this case, 2 on the left, 1 on the right. All right? So it should be easier. All right, so some of you feel that these questions were skipped. They weren't really all skipped. Maybe 18 and 19 were missed a little bit. But you should be able to figure out at least number 19, okay? All right, so let's have a look at this fill in the blank. The beach bars serve beers and cocktails from noon until what time? Did anybody catch the time that was given? Yeah, I think it was 2:30 in the afternoon, so 2:30 p.m., okay, or 2:30 in the afternoon. So let's keep it like that, sure. In addition to the small cafe on the beach, we also offer a changing what? What was number 19? Now, girls and guys, you're on the beach. It's a changing something. Logically, you should be able to tell me what that is. So Taral Patel says it's changing facility. Amanjat says it's changing rooms. Put in facility. If you didn't catch facility and you put in rooms, good for you, okay? A very, very high chance that they'll take the word room, because changing room, changing facility, they're synonyms. So if you have room or if you have facility, most likely you'll pick up the point for either one of those, okay? Because it is a correct answer. So changing facility is exactly what they said. Changing room is a synonym for what they said. And in many cases, in the listening and in the reading, for most questions, IELTS will accept a synonym as long as it's a perfect synonym. Changing room, changing facility are perfect synonyms, okay? Where you can change in and out of your swimming costume, okay? Swimming costume, that's British English. American English, we say swimming suit, okay? We also offer plenty of sports at the resort, whether it is skimboarding, beach volleyball, football, windsurfing, or our once-a-week something tournament. We have activities for everyone. Now, this one I didn't skip at all. This one you should have been able to catch up to. It's, I believe, 2 words. Anybody get what that is? Charlie Sen sure did. It's not water pool, Jubilant James or Vidyai Sai. It's not water pool. It's water polo. Be very careful with your spelling. It's water polo. Okay? Water polo. All right? Not pool, but water polo. For those of you who don't know, water polo is an internationally played sport. It's where you have a whole bunch of guys or girls floating in a pool. They have a ball in their hand. It's kind of like soccer, but played in the water. They pass it around and they try to get it into the goal with the goal keep, okay? So that's water polo. Currently, I am broadcasting to you this lesson live from beautiful Budapest, Hungary. And if you want to know, Hungary is one of the greatest all-time water polo playing nations in history in the world. So lots of great opportunities for playing water polo here in Hungary, if you're interested in that sport. All right. There's different, Jeffrey, there's different uses of polo. So you just put in polo shirt. There's also the sport of polo, which is played on horseback. Okay. So there's lots of different kinds of games that have that word polo in the title. Ralph Lauren produces a lot of golf shirts with their polo player logo on it. Okay, girls and guys, keep your answers with you. We will continue now with part 3. I want to push you through a full listening practice, okay? This is something that you really want to do at home as well before you sit the IELTS exam. So before you sit IELTS, please, girls and guys, make sure that you do at least a couple of full IELTS exams and at least several full listening exams. So not just where you're listening to one section and trying to figure out what happened, but one where you listen to all 4 sections, count up your marks, and see where you're at, okay? I'll even make a note for you on that because that is very important, all right? So this is a big tip here. So before you sit the IELTS, make sure to do full listening sections and even full exams where you get the feel for the real test. Okay? It's very different doing work for half an hour or 40 minutes than actually sitting there for a full 3 hours and being intensely involved in a foreign language, in this case English, testing situation. So bear with me, hold out, fight the good fight, stay with me, girls and guys. Let's go to section 3. So here we go. Keep your pencils, papers in front of you. Get ready to begin. Please don't write your answers in the chat. Wait till the end. Give everybody a fair chance. All right, rock and roll.
Now turn to section 3. Take some time to look at questions 21 to 26. Listening, section 3. You will hear a panel discussion on the ethics of zoos. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 26.
Welcome everyone to this very special evening. Tonight's speakers are two distinguished scholars. Dr. Henry Gergen from the University of Edinburgh is a philosopher and animal rights advocate. Dr. Gloria Mesto from Trinity College Dublin is an animal conservationist. Welcome to you both. The topic of tonight's discussion is the ethics of zoos. Here is the fundamental question. Is it right to house animals in zoos, or should they live freely in nature instead?
As an animal rights advocate and theorist, I have clear views on this question. To me, it is fundamentally wrong to lock up animals for human enjoyment. I believe that in many important respects, animals are persons and should be afforded many of the rights that human beings have. Chief among these is the right to liberty and the freedom to achieve one's desired ends in life. Clearly, these rights are abrogated by imprisonment within the zoo. Moreover, in many cases, animals in zoos are treated inhumanely and are subject to confinement in extremely small spaces. While regulation of zoos may help mitigate some of these problems, I maintain that zoos are fundamentally unethical.
I certainly understand Dr. Gergen's position, and I do agree on some of his points, most notably that zoos must be held to higher standards of animal treatment than they are currently. But my colleague fails to consider an important point in favor of zoos. The conservation of species is an incredibly important endeavor, and zoos are on the front line in the battle to save hundreds of species of animals around the world. Zoos often employ some of the leading experts in the field who are best equipped to carry out this important task. It is for this reason that I believe zoos are justified. Though they may not be perfect, I believe zoos and the experts they employ play a critical role in the conservation of species and therefore are ethically permissible.
Dr. Gergen, do you have a rebuttal to that point?
Yes, certainly. While I appreciated Dr. Mester's position as a conservationist, and I do appreciate the work she and others like her do for animal welfare around the world, I must disagree with her. While zoos certainly do play a role in animal conservation, it is not because they are zoos that they play this role.
Dr. Gergen, can you clarify that point for the audience?
Of course. What I mean is this. It is not inherent in the idea of a zoo that they conserve animals. The notions are separable. You can have an animal conservation effort that is not a zoo, just as you can have a zoo that has nothing to do with conservation. So while it is true that some zoos act as animal preserves, this does not justify the existence of zoos, since we could easily separate out these animal preserves from zoos themselves.
Fair point, but such animal preserves would still have the associated problems of poor treatment and unsuitable living conditions.
Yes, but at least it would be in an effort towards a positive end. The animals would not be captive forever, and they would not be captive merely for a human audience.
You now have some time to look at questions 27 to 30. Now listen to the rest of the interview and answer questions 27 to 30.
What about the enjoyment and education that zoos provide, especially to young people? Perhaps individuals like yourselves were inspired to become animal advocates by attending a zoo when you were a child.
That is a really interesting point. I was indeed inspired by going to a zoo when I was a child. What do you think, Dr. Gergen?
It is an interesting thought. What if the positive outcomes caused by inspiring people like us to do good in the future outweigh the harms done to zoo animals? I'm not sure. I would have to think about it more, but it's certainly an interesting question.
Well, thank you. I'll take that as a compliment. In closing, I'm not sure how much progress we've made, but is it safe to say that we can all agree that zoos, at the very least, must do their best to improve the treatment of animals and the conditions in which the animals live?
I would certainly agree with that, as I'm sure my friends would also agree.
That is the end of section 3. You will now have half a minute to check your answer.
Okay, so that's the end of section 3. And of course, as you can see, it's definitely a little bit more difficult than section 1 and 2. You have to pay more careful attention. You have to be more patient. Again, visualization is your friend. Let's go through the answers together, and I'll highlight a few key points, okay? So, that's right, Obata, polo horse. Okay, so let's have a look at this here. The first question says, match the professor with their university. Right away in the beginning of this section 3, you probably realized, okay, here we're into a dialogue with multiple speakers, okay? So you have 3 speakers here. You have somebody doing the interview, you have 2 professors, okay? So you have 3 people together. And I know that students sometimes get really worried when there's 2 or more people speaking, all right? When you have something like this, where you have these 2 professors, it's really important, very important, that early on you realize that this Dr. Henry Gergen is the guy, okay, so he's the male, and Gloria Mesto is the female. So when you see a question that's asking about Dr. Gergen's opinion or Dr. Mesto's opinion, then you know that you're listening for the man's voice, and here you're listening for the woman's voice. So again, in the IELTS listening, when you have multiple people in the dialogue, make sure that you very early on realize who is who. If you don't know who is who, and sometimes it's more tricky because it's 2 men or 2 women, and if you're not sure who is who, it's easy to get confused and get answers wrong. Okay, so number 1 and 2, I can see that a few of you have given me answers. You said, okay, Dr. Henry Gergen is from University of Edinburgh. That's correct. He's A. And Dr. Gloria Mesto is from Trinity College, Dublin. That's correct as well. That was B. So here, very simple. Order is the same as what you see. A and B for 1 and 2. If you can't catch it, hey, take a guess. Best case scenario, you get them both. Worst case scenario, you get them both wrong. It's a 50-50. All right. So now here, we're listening to Dr. Gergen's argument, and it is 3 questions, so it's 22, 23, 24. So in your answer sheet, you will have 3 spaces, okay? You'll have 22, 23, 24. You have to put 1 into each space. What are the 3 correct answers for this? Arguments given against zoos. So the animals are treated inhumanely, animals are persons, and so on. What did you get? So let's see. Saneem says it's got to be A, B, and F. Amandeep says it's D, E, A, E, D, F. Well, they say A. So the speaker says the animals are treated inhumanely. Again, logic will help you. A lot of people will say that, yeah, a bad idea. So something that's negative in zoos is animals aren't treated the way they should be. They don't live in big open spaces. They can't hunt. So they're treated poorly. They don't have that freedom of life. And then Dr. Gergen says animals are persons. They're people, right? So I'm pretty sure B was one of them. And then the last one is they are fundamentally unethical. Unethical is a synonym for wrong. So I believe it was A, B, and F. But hey, we'll check the answer key at the very end, so don't worry about it. Mawada, Faiz, it looks like you got them all right. Welcome back, Mahinder. Animals are human beings and should be treated equally. E. No, that's not correct. I don't think, Amanjot, because animals are not human beings. It says they are persons. So, but we'll see. We'll take a look at the answer key, okay? The transcripts will actually reveal that for you also. I believe it's A, B, and F. I think those are the best answers. I don't think Dr. Gergen says they should be treated equally. I think that's extra information that's not given to you in the audio, okay? All right, let's have a look at question 25 to 27. These are short answers or fill in the blanks. Write no more than 2 words. Again, pay attention to instructions. In order to improve the conditions for zoo animals, zoos must be held to what of animal treatment? Salim says it's higher standards. Yeah, you should have plural here. Higher standards. Okay? I believe that if you do not have the S here, you will get that wrong. Pay attention. Plurals and singular words matter in IELTS. So higher standards. While zoos do conserve animal life, Dr. Gergen argues that this function could also be performed by animal what? What is number 26? Animal what? It's not welfare. This is higher standards here. What's this one here? Amanjot, very close. So there are places in the world where you have these big fenced off areas, like kind of like a field or a forest that's surrounded by a fence where animals live in peace and they're protected and they're taken care of. It's not for tourists. It's not for people. You can't go there like a zoo. Okay, they're called animal preserves. That's right, Jubilant James. They're called animal preserves. Okay. Okay, animal preserves. So again, you can use all capitals if you like. If you want, you could write this all small like that as well. All right, so both of those answers are okay. The P has to be small because it's just a word, it's not a proper noun. 27, this is kind of a bit weird. It comes a little bit later. This would be a separate question on your IELTS. It wouldn't be rolled in with these other ones. Enjoyment and something are key positives of zoos. This should be easy. You should be able to guess this even if you didn't catch it. Education, very good. All of you who are answering education, you'd pick that one up. All capitals is okay. All small letters is okay. So very good. All right. Let's go on to the last couple of questions here. 28 to 30. According to Dr. Gergen, the value of inspiring young people outweigh the negative aspects of zoos. What does Dr. Gergen say about this? He does give us the exact answer that's provided as a choice. He says, yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think about it. He says he's unsure. He says he's unsure. And it's also the answer to the next one, Jeffrey, you're right, which is the interesting question. So what is the interesting question? A, whether zoos are ethical, whether the inspiration value of zoo outweigh their negative aspects, or whether enjoyment and inspiration negate the importance of zoos. The correct answer here is B. Okay? Whether the inspiration value, so the motivation, the encouragement of zoos outweighs, means they're more important than the negative, so the deficit aspects or parts. A couple of students in the last week sent me emails saying they're worried about these multiple choice questions in the listening. you have to know the answer. Listening is too fast. It's not even like reading. So for listening, for multiple choice, you basically have to know what the answer is and then choose the correct match. If you're trying to search and find the answer, you will get in trouble, okay? So you really have to focus on understanding the listening and then choosing the best match or paraphrase for that. If you're searching for the answer from the choices, it's very difficult to do that, and you might miss the next answer. So careful with that. Number 30, what do the guests agree on? A, zoo conditions need to be improved. B, zoos are unethical. C, the inspiration value of zoos is unethical. Anybody? Yeah, some good answers there. That one was a fairly easy one. It was A. So here it's B, here it's A. Zoo conditions could always be better, right? You could always make a zoo bigger, more comfortable for the animals, give them better food. So zoo conditions should be improved. All right, girls and guys, so that's section 3. And again, as you see, it's definitely getting more difficult than section 1 and 2. So you need to pay attention to that. Now, let's go on to section number 4. And then at the very end, you'll have a chance to check your marks and see what kind of a band score you would get on the IELTS. So again, focusing on doing a full listening section here. Let's go to section 4, the final section. Could be as difficult or more difficult as section 3. Section 4, it's all one go. There is no break halfway through. You have to just go through all 10 questions in one. So take your pencil and your paper, get ready. Please don't write your answers into the chat. Give everybody a fair chance to answer on their own. Here we go.
Our turn to section 4. Take some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Listening, section 4. You will hear a professor discussing the migration of loggerhead turtles. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
It's late April on the South Atlantic coast of North America, and one of the most remarkable journeys in all of nature is about to begin. The loggerhead turtle, whose natural habitat is the open ocean, has to seek dry land to lay its eggs. The sandy beaches of Florida provide a perfect nesting spot, with soft sand that can be dug up by the persistent flippers of the female loggerhead. Over the course of the next 3 months, hundreds of thousands of eggs will be laid on such beaches. Many of these eggs will become the victim of predators, but many will survive to hatching, which occurs 2 months after being laid. Hatching marks the beginning of an incredible journey for the loggerhead turtle. Almost immediately upon hatching, the young turtles, known as hatchlings at this point, head for the open ocean. The ocean, while full of its own dangers and predators, provides a relative safe haven for the hatchlings away from many of the predators that live near the shoreline. These young turtles embark upon a journey that will take them upwards of 13,000 kilometers around the North Atlantic. Many animals make large and incredible journeys, but what makes the loggerhead turtle's migration so notable is the speed at which the animal moves. While many bird species make similar journeys, they move at velocities much faster than the loggerhead turtle. This slow-moving beast travels at the remarkably sluggish pace of only 3/4 of a kilometre per hour. This means it will take the turtle a minimum of 17,000 hours to complete its migratory journey, not even taking into account stops for feeding and sleep. To put that number in perspective, 17,000 hours is approximately 2 years of non-stop swimming. That the loggerhead turtle makes this journey alone makes it all the more impressive. From birth to adolescence to adulthood, The loggerhead turtle is a solitary traveller. But how does it know where to go? Doesn't it need a parent to help it know the route? This is where the loggerhead becomes even more fascinating. Recent research tells us the loggerhead uses the magnetic field of the Earth to determine its migration route. Because the Earth's magnetic field differs in each location around the world, the loggerhead turtle can use it as a kind of innate roadmap, illuminating the way to where they need to be. One example of this is the behaviour they exhibit when they encounter the particular magnetic field off the coast of Portugal. Instead of continuing north towards the cold waters of northern Europe, they sense the magnetic field and turn around, instead heading for the warmer waters of northwestern Africa. And it is not just that the loggerhead turtle has a sort of innate compass. They are able to determine, with surprising precision, their latitude and longitude. They know exactly when to zig and zag to optimize their migratory pattern. Even with their incredible ability to know where they are and where they need to be, the survival rate of migratory loggerhead turtles is incredibly low. In fact, only about 1 in 4,000 hatchlings makes it back to the beach in eastern Florida to mate and lay its eggs. However, that any make it at all is an incredible achievement and one of the great natural wonders of navigation.
That is the end of section 4. You will now have half a minute to check your answers.
All right, and again, use that half minute to check your answers, and then you'll have 10 minutes to transfer your answers from the question booklet to the answer sheet. So that's your second chance to look for spelling mistakes, grammar mistakes, context mistakes, and so on, logic mistakes as well. So pay attention to all of those. Notice section 4, it's kind of a lecture. It often is a lecture type of section 4. It goes quite fast, no breaks. So you really have to keep pace. Write no more than 2 words and or number for each answer. This one's about the loggerhead turtle. Hopefully all of you kind of have an idea of what that looks like. You're paying attention for this first piece of information. It's very important, a flowchart type question. So the loggerhead turtle has to seek dry land to lay its eggs. The sandy beaches of, this has to be a location, sandy beaches of some place. Provide perfect location for nesting. FB con fun or talented people. Yep, okay, good. Vegan Jeffrey, yep. Florida, very good for using that capital F. This has to be capital. If you use a small f, you'll get it wrong. Florida is a state in the U.S. It definitely is with a big letter F and spelt in this way, or you could use all capital letters. And then as soon as you have that answer, keep going. After hatching, the loggerhead turtle immediately heads for the ocean. The ocean is safer than the shore because it has fewer what? So fewer what? That's right, Jeffrey. Predators. Constance Sade. Yeah, predators. Fewer means that it has to be plural. So Charlie Sen, you get that wrong because you have a missing S. Okay? Prince Grok, you'd have to make sure that you're writing a small p there. So it's predators. Very important S because of the word fewer. It doesn't make sense to say fewer predator. Okay, that's awkward English. So you would get it wrong if you don't have the plural there. The turtles embark on a journey that will take them some amount of kilometers around the Atlantic. There's a couple of ways that you could write that correctly here. 13,000 is okay. And a constants, it's okay to do it like that as well. The simplest way is what Jeffrey has. You don't want to do a period, Amandeep, only a comma. So let me bring this up a little bit so you're not making mistakes on that one, because I see a couple of you losing marks, which you shouldn't be losing. So for number 33, you could have it like this. Okay, you could have it like this. You could have it like this. You could have it like this. but you cannot have it like this. Okay? In English, this is not 13,000. This is 13.000. So this would be wrong. I saw one of you give that answer. Be very careful. This one is the easiest one. Okay? Definitely no mistake there. 13 with 3 zeros is 13,000. Okay? This one's okay, but you have to be careful because if you make a spelling mistake in the word thousand or in the word 13, you'll get it wrong. So don't expose yourself to a higher rate of error if you don't have to, okay? It's much faster to just write the number as 13 with 3 zeros, okay? All right. While long migratory journeys are fairly commonplace in nature, what makes the loggerhead's journey especially notable is the extremely, there's kind of two answers that you can give there, pace it travels at. So number 34, Amandeep, don't worry about it too much. Constance, very good, sluggish. And sluggish is a synonym for slow. Jeffrey, you're jumping ahead, I think. Sluggish or slow, both are okay here. A slug is like a snail without a house, okay? So in English, this little creature here is called a snail. And if this little guy doesn't have a house, if he's just this long little creature like this, no house, then he's called a slug. Okay? Slug, snail. And we use the word slug, I think snailish maybe as well, but definitely sluggish. So we use the word sluggish. If somebody's moving very slowly, they're being sluggish. You'll sometimes hear parents telling their kids, stop being sluggish. Okay? All right. Slow or sluggish, they used both. So 34. The entire journey is equal to approximately how long? Let's see. Slowly, Vidya, Sai is not good for that because slowly is not a correct word form. Constance, Said, Sanim, Nemo, Amandeep, careful, you need an S. Viday, yes, correct. Vegan, Jadai, Jeffrey, also correct. 2 years, yep. S is important, it's 2. You can use the number 2 or you can use the word 2. In the listening and in the reading section, you can use numbers for any number, okay? Writing task 2, you definitely want to use the word for 0 to 10. Okay, that's kind of a rule in English. That's for writing task 2. You don't have to worry about it in the listening and reading. Okay, 36 to 39. This is a kind of a summary completion question here. Write no more than 2 words and or a number. As incredible as the loggerhead turtle journey is, what makes it even more impressive is that the loggerhead is a something traveler. Harkamalpreet, good. The spelling's good. Constance, good spelling. Jubilant, good. Jeffrey, not solid trip, solitary. Solitary means alone or by yourself. It means solo, right? Solo travel, solitary traveler, those are okay. Solitary means that the turtle is traveling alone. So solitary is correct. Traversing the open ocean on its own for years at a time. Scientific research has, in recent years, told us that it is through a connection with the Earth's something that the turtles find their way around the ocean. Now, you can probably guess this if you watch some nature shows, and I can see a lot of students coming up with the right answer there. It's a magnetic field. And of course, when you have the correct answers, you just have to pay attention to that spelling. So if you got magnetic field, excellent. Okay, around the ocean. For example, the turtles are able to sense something off the coast of. Now, this is a location again, and the turtles are feeling that something's going on. So they changed their direction. It's a name of a country. It has to have a capital first letter no matter what. And the country is Portugal, with one of the greatest football players of all time, Ronaldo, who had a great performance in the World Cup. Right? So Portugal was the right answer there. That was a little bit of a throw-in for football fans. All right. Possession or possessing more than a simple compass, the loggerhead can innately sense it's something and something, longitude. So as we know, we have the Earth, and when you look at a map, the Earth has some lines that go this way and this way. The lines, longitude, long. This, I believe, is the longitude, going up and down, and then going left and right. You have latitude, not altitude, latitude, guys and girls. Latitude, watch your spelling. So latitude, longitude, okay, know those. So this is latitude, this is longitude. Very good words to know in English, because if you're traveling around in the world, especially if you like nature and the outdoors, you're out in the forest, it's really good to know what your latitude and longitude are, or if you're on the ocean, and you might need to know those words to communicate them to somebody in case of an emergency. So very important words to know in English for navigation. Last question. Good job so far, everyone. Last question. Question 40. Choose the correct letter A, B, or C. Approximately what percentage of hatchlings make it back to the breeding ground in Florida? It's such a sad story because it's very few. So is it A, B, or C? Yeah, the correct answer is A, right? The speaker says 1 in 4,000. 1 in 4,000 is simple math, 0.025%. Okay, so 1 in 4,000 is 0.025%. Just some simple math there. So it's definitely A. Again, this type of question should remind you that IELTS is a thinking exam. It's testing the way your brain, your logic, your critical thinking work, not just your English skills. Okay, girls and guys, make sure you have that piece of paper and pencil, especially for all of you who have held out from the beginning, in front of you. We'll take a peek at the answer key, okay? And just check to see all of the right answers for this. And then I can give you your band scores in a minute here. So here we go. Okay, this is from the back of our book. In the back of our books, you will always find the answer keys and the transcripts. So here we go. Listening section. Answers, so mark them. Don't cheat. You're only cheating yourself if you don't have the right spelling or something's wrong. Mark it as wrong. You should know your exact level so you know where to improve. Listening section. Number 1, B. Number 2, B. Number 3, Anderson, spelled as E-R-S-E-N, has to be correct. Number 4, August 20th, 20th of August, Aug 20, those are all good. Number 5, 620. Number 6, BA Art History. BA is in brackets, so it means that you can get this one if you just wrote Art History. 7 is B, 8 is A, 9 is C, 10 is B, 11 is C. Numbers 12 or marks 12 to 15, any order is okay. If you get one of these wrong, you lose 1 mark. If you get 2 wrong, you lose 2 marks. If you get 3 wrong, lost 3 marks, and so on. But the correct answers are A, D, E, and G. So as many as you get right, that's how many you pick up. 16B, 17D, 18 is 430. 19 is facility or room. If you had room, it's okay. Number 20 is water polo. Number 21, you need to get them both correct, A and B. So 1 is A, 2 is B. Again, number 22, 23, and 24, it doesn't matter the order. It just matters that you get these 3 letters, A, B, and F. 25, higher standards. Must have that S, girls and guys. If you don't have that S, don't give yourself that mark. 26, animal preserves. Again, need that S. 27, education. 28, C. 29, B. 30, A. 31, Florida. Must have that capital F. 32, predators. Must have that S. 33 is 13,000. You could have it with words or numbers, but you must have a comma here, not period. Number 34, slow or sluggish, as we talked about. 35, 2 years. 36, solitary or solo. 37, magnetic field. 38, Portugal. 39, latitude. And 40 is A. 2 years is okay, Harcum or Pete, if you write it like that, absolutely, as long as you have 2 years with plurals. Okay, girls and guys, so add up your scores. Let me know what you got, and I'll tell you your band score, okay? If you visit either of our websites, if you visit our academic site, or if you visit our General IELTS website, on the bottom, I'll show you here in a second. Just give me one moment, girls and guys here. So on the bottom of the website, okay, you have this score calculator link. So just click that score calculator link when you're on our website, and then here you can check your listening and your reading score. So let me take a peek at those for you. Okay, so let me see what you got. So Jubilant James has 35. So if you got 35 in your listening, Jubilant James, that means you got an 8. Okay, so that's good. Harkamlar Preet, you got 25. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name right. It's a little bit tricky. 25 is a 6. Okay. Nemo, you got 29. Let me check that for you. 29 is a 6.5. Okay. Sonal, 24. 24 is a 6. Yeah, 24, 25, those are 6s. Vidyai Sai, 32. 32 is a 7.5. That's pretty good, Vidyai. So that's pretty good. Instagram Live, 26. Is a 6.5. I believe 6.5 begins at around 24. Ahmed Abwel Wafa, 30. 30 is 7. Good job there. Let's see. FB Con Fun, 21 out of 40. Let me check that for you. I think that's a 5.5. Yeah, so if you're getting 21, you're getting a 5.5. Sonal, 22. I think you're at a 5.5 as well. Yep, 22 is a 5.5. All right, girls and guys, if I didn't check yours, don't worry. Just go to our website and click on the score calculator, and you can check your scores there for the listening or the reading. Now, I'll wrap up there. If you have questions about the listening, you can always send me an email also. I'm happy to answer for you. I saw that we have a few new sponsors for the channel, which is great, girls and guys. So 2 of every 5 lessons every week are for sponsors, sponsor chat only. Tomorrow we have one coming up for speaking. So welcome aboard, sponsors. Thank you for supporting us. Of course, the other ways to support us is sign up for our full course at aehelp.com for academic IELTS, gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. New sponsors, be sure to send me an email. My email address is here so that I can hook you up with our 6 practice exams, and so you can make some special requests and get in on those sponsor chat lessons, okay? So, you're very welcome, everyone. Very welcome, Amandeep. Very welcome, Eugene. Keep up the good work, girls and guys. Make sure to do listening and speaking practice regularly. With speaking and listening, it's probably even more important to do it every single day than writing or reading, although you should try to do all 4 of them every day. Keep up the good work. I'm sure you'll pass the IELTS. You're all beautiful, beautiful people with smart brains, okay? You have supercomputers inside of that skull. So use it and keep up the good fight. I will catch you tomorrow, same time, 15 o'clock to 16 o'clock Central European time. So see you tomorrow. Bye for now. Much love to everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Sweet dreams for those of you getting ready for bed. Bye for now.